John Beltran, Dave Urick back from Beet Digger Stadium. We're ready to begin the second half momentarily with the Beet Diggers leading 34-0. And with that 34-0 lead, Mitch Tormolen, the sophomore, is warming up on the sideline. As Dave mentioned, we should see the second unit out there quite a bit, but more than likely the first unit will get at least one possession. However, the Mustangs will receive the second half kickoff. The Beet Diggers have had the football 5 times and scored all 5 times. The Mustangs are still looking for their initial first down. And when you talk about discipline, I mean, the Beet Diggers did have that one penalty on offense on Garcia's long run for a touchdown, which was obviously called back by a holding penalty. But I guess you'd have to say it's a pretty well-played game in terms of the lack of penalties, Dave. Not too many penalties in this game. It's not very sloppy.
No, and that's a lot different than what we're used to seeing this first game out. It seems like we always stumble through a lot of offensive issues and penalties, like you were saying, and they kind of get you down a little bit, gets everybody on edge, but it's been a pretty clean game on both sides of the ball.
And Jesus Cardenas has been very busy tonight. Several kickoffs, 4 for 5 on extra points. We will boot that football away. There's been a couple of different return men for the Mustangs. And the freshman is back there again, Jared Bohm, at 5'9", 165 pounds, standing at his own 5-yard line. Beet Digger still on the sidelines, getting ready to send that unit out there to begin the second half. 2 touchdowns tonight from Joe Rosenbrock, one by Skylar Seawald, and a touchdown run and a touchdown pass by Eric Garcia. Cargill Meat Solutions takes as much pride in the community just as they do in the products they provide to their consumers. Cargill Meat Solutions, part of the KSIR B106 scholarship program. And Jesus is about to tee it up. Second half could move along very quickly. As we said before, if this gets to be a 40-point lead, it'll be a running clock. A high end-over-end kick headed towards the sideline, takes a bounce field at the 17-yard line across the 25 to the 30, and spinning across the 30-yard line looked like Jared Farnick. Pickup of around 14 yards before he was upended over there. And Trevor Blake and Ismael Hernandez made the tackle. Pretty good field position for Fort Morgan, starting at their own 32-yard line to begin the second half.
It's a good run back. The Morgan kid caught the ball on the right hash mark, and boy, he just surged straight ahead, ran really hard.
1st and 10 from the 32-yard line. 3 in the backfield, and Anderson bobbles the snap, and he tries to hand it off, and that's going to be a disaster. Loss of around 3 back to the 29-yard line as the ball carrier was piled up. That was Matt Godo. Connor Weiser in on the play. And Kyle Hefner also was in on the tackle. 2nd down and 13. That play is emblematic of what happened to Fort Morgan in terms of the inefficiency in the opening half.
You know, and it's like you were saying, they're going to have those jitters, the bugs they're going to have to work through. But Morgan's coming out with double tights and the power eye, and they're going to just try to eat some clock.
2nd down and 13. Anderson of the give to Godo across the 30 to the 35 as he swings it back towards the middle to the 36-yard line, picking up about 7 yards in the play. Joe Rosenbrock makes the tackle, but an excellent run by Godo. It'll be 3rd down and around 6.
You know, and Rush is going to have to bear down and stop that power running where they're leading 2 backs up the hole and just running right behind them. This is good practice for Faith Christian next week, and good for Fort Morgan. Harrison Chisholm's just trying to teach that offensive line of his to run the football.
3rd and 6, the handoff left side to Godo. He dives to the 39, short of a first down. He was tripped up initially in that backfield before he dove to the 39, gain of 3. Kyle Hefner with the initial penetration, 4th and 3, and I would think Fort Morgan would punt here, and they will. Ryan Probasco is into the game, standing at his own 25. And Eric Garcia is back deep to receive. Nearly 2 minutes into the third quarter, Brush up by 34. A little bit of a high snap. Probasco gets it off. End-over-end punt, lands at the 31-yard line, takes a wild hop, and now it's bobbled by Garcia, tries to pick it up, it's loose, and C.J. Kukas will fall on it at around the 8-yard line, and Garcia has had all types of problems fielding punts tonight. It's just been a weak suit for him, and the Beat Diggers are in terrible field position to begin the second half.
Yep, like we said, they really want to field that ball and not let it hit the ground. But just having a hard time, keeping it. I think Eric's having a hard time keeping his eye on the ball and making sure he picks it up before he runs. And, I don't blame him. You see people coming down the field that are getting ready to smear you. You're looking at trying to get out of there.
Well, it amounts to a 51-yard punt, and Probasco has been a nice weapon tonight for Fort Morgan. Your full-service florist with a whole lot more is the Flower Peddler. Come in and see what's in store at 322 Main Street in downtown Fort Morgan. The Flower Peddler. First and 10 for the Beat Diggers at their own 10-yard line. Man in motion to the left is Kyle Muir. Garcia is going to hand it off on the left side to Rosenbach. Breaks a tackle, breaks a second one across the 20 to the 25, maybe the 26-yard line as he kept driving those legs. It's a Beat Digger first down and a gain of 16. Brandon Hoffman was near that sideline trying to run Rosenbach out of bounds, but Rosenbach was just way too strong.
He just showed so much will. It's like, I took the hit, I took another big hit, but I'm not going down. I'm still going to try to break this thing and run all the way.
Rosenbach limping a little bit off the field, but looks to be okay. First and 10 for Brush, just trying to stretch out that leg at the 26-yard line. Albo, the receiver, to the left. Pablo Gil in motion, or the receiver on the other side. Hard count by Garcia. Muir in motion to the right. And Garcia to hand it off on the right side to Morrow. He spins to the 27. That's it. Gain of 1. Zach Carpenter was in on the play, along a couple of other Mustangs as well. Second down and 9.
If they're in a position of needing to throw the football or a little tighter game, Russia, they had their center, their 2 guards, their 2 tackles, and then both their ends were split out as well as a flanker, and Morgan didn't really adjust to it. They left their defense all tied up there and tried to stop the run.
8:47 to go, third quarter. Brush leads Fort Morgan 34-0. Second and 9 for the 27. Muir's in motion to the left. Garcia is going to pitch it left to Morrow, looking to swing it to the outside across the 30, and then he's tumbled at around the 32-yard line. Pick up 5 yards in the play. T.J. Schneider and Jose Miranda, a 5'6", 130-pound junior, combined to make the hit, but it is a gain of 5, and it'll be third and a long 4.
Again, some good blocking there. As the Fort Morgan defense, they were charging ahead right up the middle, and their offensive linemen for Brush were able to pick up the blitz.
Third and 4 from the 32-yard line with the Beat Diggers on their own side of the field. 2 receivers split each side. 1 setback for Brush. Garcia's going to hand it off right up the gut, and that's a first down. Driving across the 35 to the 38-yard line is Skyler Seawald as he slammed into Garrett Strobel, who made the tackle. But it's a Beat Digger first down.
That takes Seawald to 95 yards on 9 carries. Rosenbrock's 91 yards on 9 carries. Those 2 guys are near 200 yards between the 2 of them.
First and 10 with the Beat Diggers possessing the football at their own 37, just chewing up clock, running the football. Garcia is going to hand it off to Skyler Seawald, running left across the 40 to the 50, down the left side, inside the 45-yard line, down to the 40, and he's tackled at around the 35. We have a flag down. Tackle was made by Armando Lopez. Let's see what the flag is all about. It should still be a first down, even if it's against Brush, considering how far it was down the field.
I think they're going to call Kukas for blocking in the back. He kept his hands on the kid, way down the field. And as Seawald made his move, that cost him his position, and he wasn't able to get his hands on.
Yeah, it's still going to be a first down because the line of scrimmage was the 37, and the penalty was committed, I believe, at the Mustang 40. So essentially, give him 23 yards for Seawald. And then the 10-yard penalty should place the ball in midfield. So it is a first down on the Mustang side of the 50 for the Beet Diggers.
Now Seawald made that over 100-yard mark, 118 yards.
7:41 to go, third quarter. The Beet Diggers scored 5 touchdowns in the opening half. First and 10 from the 50. The handoff right side to Weiser to the 45. Puts it back to the outside of the 40, and he dives towards the stick. And it looks like he's got a first down and a gain of 10 before he was tripped up near the 39-yard line. Connor Weiser running hard.
You bet. You just take Seawald out, you put Weiser in, you don't lose a big step.
They will measure at this point. Yeah, it's like a couple of trucks going through there, and Weiser and Seawald. And the Mustangs are having all types of problems stopping that combination. C.J. Kukas will take a little breather. They stretch the sticks. And it's a first down just inside the Mustang 40.
You know, total plays, Brush has had 40 offensive plays to Fort Morgan 16. You know, it's just a offensive night for Brush. Like we were talking about in pregame, you know, that you're able to run the ball in between the tackles and just chew up the clock. The other team doesn't get a chance to touch the ball very often.
17 first downs unofficially for Brush and none for Fort Morgan. First down and 10 for the Beet Diggers, just inside the Mustang 40. 7:27 to go, third quarter with the clock running. Brush is leading 34-0, lining up on the right hash mark. Garcia with a hard count is going to hand it off on the left side to Seawald, and he pulls his way inside the 35, down to around the 32, maybe the 31. It's a gain of 7. The initial hit over there was by Jose Miranda, but it'll be second down and 3. Another big game for a Beet Digger runner.
Yep, 125 yards on 11 carries. Morgan has total offense of about 6 yards tonight.
And you know, Brush scores here, that'll be it. The second unit will come in for a good portion, well, a smaller portion of the third quarter and the entire fourth quarter. Second down and 3 for the Mustang 32-yard line. Kukas is in motion to the left. Garcia on the bootleg left, cuts it back to the inside of the 30. First down to the 25, swoops it back with the 20, and he's down to around the 15-yard line. Big run for Eric Garcia. Brandon Hoffman makes the tackle, but it's a gain of 17 and a Beet Digger first down.
You know, Garcia's just so elusive, and, you know, Coach Drake is kind of lulling the Fort Morgan defense to sleep. They have to worry about the pounding that they're taking from those fullbacks. And then Rosenbrock, he's a halfback, but he's still big and strong enough to where you take punishment whenever you tackle him. And then those guys make those great fakes, and Garcia gets to keep the ball and then run forever down the field.
Tanner Morrow back into the game for Joe Rosenbrock. First and 10 for the Beet Diggers at the Mustang 15. This drive began at the Beet Digger 10. Morrow joined by Weiser in the backfield. And there's the give to Weiser right up the gut, and he carries the defender down to around the 11, maybe the 10. And gang tackled by a couple of the Mustangs, including Ryan Probasco. It's a gain of 4. Here comes the 10th play of the drive. For great family entertainment, check out Fire Lanes, 220 Cambridge and Brush. Walk in or reserve your time at Fire Lanes today. Beet Digger replay to follow. Second down and 6 for the 11. Baxter split. Garcia will keep it himself. Option right back to the middle to the 5 towards the goal line, and he is down. There's a late flag, and there is a touchdown signaled by the official. It would count from 11 yards away. Let's see what the flag is all about. Beet Diggers are walking backwards. And that flag was thrown as Garcia was scoring. It's a hold against the Beet Diggers. Well, that might get that back right to the original line of scrimmage because it was thrown in the end zone. And that's too bad because that penalty didn't need to occur when your quarterback is free like that.